Welcome back to For the Mamas Collective Podcast, a space where we believe in the power of connection and shared experiences.
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jaleesa. We're so happy you're joining us for our 19th episode.
This podcast is such a joy for both of us because we know motherhood is full of unspoken truths. This is our place to unpack them together.
For the Mamas Collective is about making room for all of it, the beautiful, the hard, and the in between. No filters here.
Not with us, no. And today, whew,
Mm,
we're getting into one of the realest topics we've ever covered. Today's episode is called Sex, Intimacy, and Motherhood because no one told us how much those three things would collide.
and shift and stretch. And sometimes, honey, it don't exist. It's disappeared entirely. All right. Before we dive in, let's check in. Danielle, what's your rose and thorn since our last time recording?
My rose is that my baby is home. I feel like he was. Oh no, he was on the next episode, of the last
Mm-hmm.
episode. Okay, because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, he's been gone for 2 weeks, literally. Like he
Yeah.
left after we recorded, and
Yeah.
he just came back home. So
Nice.
he's officially 8. He
Mm.
went and got his ears pierced for his birthday. So
Oh my
boy,
gosh.
does he think he's cool. But he's so yeah, they look so cute on him. I can barely
Aw.
wait. Yeah, his daddy took him. I fought it for a while, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. Um, and my thorn, something that's painting me, and I say it's a challenge, but it really just hurt more so.
Mm.
But I got a call on Friday that the
Mm.
foster dog we had, and that we had taken back, that they decided to euthanize her.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, I told Trey when we took her back, I'm like, she's not a shelter dog. She's not gonna make it. And you could just
Mm.
tell by her personality. And I mean, unfortunately, she wasn't working in our home either. But um, yeah, they said that she didn't want to be handled by the staff. She had stopped eating. She had like extremely severe anxiety, but she wouldn't take her anxiety meds, and she was just
Mm.
deteriorating because she was losing so much weight. So
Mm.
they decided to put her down. They did tell me there was a staff member who had taken to her, who was going to be there with her for the
Okay.
process, because I couldn't get myself together to go and be there. I
Mm-hmm.
did ask what they do with the dogs once they're euthanized, and she said they're cremated. So I couldn't have the ashes, but they're going to make me a paw print,
Oh.
which I don't know. I know I kind of feel bad because I'm like, oh, I feel like I failed her. And, just talking through it with Trey, it's one of those things where it's like, we tried. We gave her 6 good
Mm-hmm.
months. We really tried to make it work, and it was just like, you know, messing with our mental health, and
Mm-hmm.
just her being out the house. It has been more peaceful here, so I get it, and it's not us who failed her. It was her owner. Like, it's the breeders
Yeah.
who don't really vet who they're giving these pets to, and she just ended up a product of the system. And we did give her 6 good months of life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she got to
Mm-hmm.
travel. She did a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my thorn, because it's just been kind of sad. And I had been worried about her, since we took her back. But that morning in particular, I was thinking about reaching out to the shelter to ask how she was doing.
Mm.
She had been on my mind that much, and go figure, they called me that evening. So, you know,
Wow.
yeah, that's where I'm at. But it's life. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. But I'm glad y'all gave her those 6 months, right?
yeah.
She got to have some joy and experience some fun, you know.
Yeah, and some true love. She
Yeah.
knew, we loved her. She did know that. But kind of bittersweet, because I think I told y'all this, but like, she was like the first dog that felt like I was her person. Like, every dog I've ever been
Mm.
around, they chose their person, and I was just kind of like a secondary, like supplemental. If nobody else is around, you'll do. But like, I was her person, and so
Mm.
to know she's gone, I just been praying for her. I hope she's resting easy, and enjoying the other side. So
Yeah.
I'll see her again.
Yeah. Oh,
But
sweet.
tell me about you. Give me some roses.
Uh, okay, well, I probably just got one. Um, my girlfriend Amanda, who is a big supporter of the podcast, so shout out
Whoop,
to
whoop.
Amanda. Uh, did a bridesmaid's proposal, so I'll be a part of her wedding, and she did
Oh.
such a good job. I mean, she's a Virgo, so I already knew that was happening. But she said she did such a good job tricking me because I'm asking all these questions, and I'm thinking, she told us she was getting promoted at work. And so for like weeks, I've been like, how's the new job going? Are you prepared? Blah, blah, blah. And so when she did when she surprised us with the lunch, I was like, okay, I knew I said, I kind of had an idea. And I was like, I just figured, the promotion was the best time to propose to everyone. And she was like, but I'm not getting a promotion. I got the same job and I just couldn't wrap my mind around. She's like, it's still nothing new with the job. I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. Okay, let me wrap my mind around it. So that's really fun. We're really excited to get started with the process and just be a part of another
Mhm.
wedding. And they're getting married next year, so I can't wait for that. That's something to look forward to. So that's probably the biggest roles over the past couple weeks for me. And then Sydney graduated. So, well, not graduated, but she finished fifth grade. She's going to middle school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
How does that feel?
yeah, she's on her way to sixth grade. Child, I'm scared. I'm
Mhm.
scared. I remember sixth grade. I don't remember a
Yeah.
whole lot out of pure survival, but I remember sixth grade, and it was interesting. But you know what? Sydney's not me. She's going in very strong.
Yeah.
She has a lot of girlfriends. She likes school. She's good at math. So she got some solid foundations. She's doing concert band, which is the next level of band. So she's
Okay.
really busy, and then she's doing basketball. So Sydney's living the life that I didn't get to live. So I believe her middle school will be different than mine.
Mhm. And
So
shout out
that's
to the parents who are raising her. I
yeah.
see y'all.
Hey, that's the thorn. Why? Hey, being a good parent, me and my other girlfriend Valencia were talking about this. Being a good parent, a
Mhm.
fully present parent, takes so much. That's
Yeah.
the only thorn is like I am incredibly exhausted in for good reasons. So
Mhm.
like I have no right to complain, but boy, is my
Yeah.
mind tired. I am tired of remembering stuff. So we're
Mhm.
embracing summer. We're not planning anything but fun things. I can't do summer camp. But they'll do basketball camp, but I can't think about anything else. I just have to promise them that we're gonna go to the pool and that's about it. And outside.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking forward to. Finding the free time and just doing it. So that's it. I didn't really have too many thorns. The thorns is being a great parent.
Right. It's that double-edged
Yeah.
sword, right? It comes at a cost.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
No, but that I mean, that's still a blessing, so, we can't take that for granted, but
Yeah.
I feel you. I hold
Yes,
space for
man.
you there
Yeah.
because yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was I'm sorry. I don't know why that made me think about it. I'm thinking about how I feel when I'm like, oh, the kids was gone. And as soon as they come home, you'd be like, oh my God, y'all back already? Like,
Right.
and
Like,
I
damn.
enjoyed the peace so much, but y'all just came straight in the house with all that whining
Uh-huh. All that
and
wine and
all that
Jesus.
whining. Yes. And Chase was gone for 2 weeks and literally came home yesterday. He was like, Mom, Ari won't stop crying. I was like, boy, you ain't heard her cry in 2 weeks and you
Right.
mad 20 minutes in? Like, go back
Right.
to sleep. Like
Please.
you have no idea what this
Please.
means, right? Like we do this day in and day out. You had a 2 week
Right.
reprieve.
Right.
I wish from
Girl,
all of
that's
y'all. Like,
please. That's what I told Robert. You're 4, she's 11. Why are we fighting? I don't understand. I can't. She just get you wait. He asked for is sitting home from school every day. Her last day of school, that next day they fight. How? What's
yes.
happening? Oh
Yes.
my god. Hmm.
But they have
Joyful.
each other. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
They have each other for that. I'm grateful.
Yes.
Whew. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
got those out. I guess it's time we go ahead and dive in.
It's okay. I'm like
Start
skirting the
talking about
subject.
yeah, yeah. Let's hit it. The
Yeah.
evolution of intimacy post kids.
Mm,
Okay. So
right.
we'll start here.
Okay.
I don't want to say why do we never, because I do
Mm-hmm.
think there are some instances, but why don't we talk more
Mm,
about how
mm-hmm.
motherhood changes intimacy?
Yes, right. And not just sex part, not just that part, but emotional closeness too, right? That feeling of being seen, wanted, chosen, and not just need it. And I'll take that a step further, is that like as women, we may not be giving that to our partners. I saw this post on social media, and the guy was saying like, first 2 years after a kid, you're having survival sex. You got 9 minutes to get it going, and find a room, sneak in, and be done with it. And it's not that closeness, but that also made me think about the that happens with emotional closeness too. We
Mhm.
don't have, it doesn't feel like you have the time to make space for each other's emotional needs. And I know for sure, me as a mom, as a mother, as a wife, I'd be trying, but like, y'all know my favorite thing to say is I don't care. I do care. It's very hard to care when
Mhm.
I am in a state of delirium.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I might be the culprit in this. I can't blame it on, I don't know if I can blame it on my husband. It's me. It's me. I'm the problem.
I mean, and I think it goes both ways because, to what you said, like being chosen, right? To not just be needed, but to
Mhm.
really feel seen. There's so much that I can say personally, post each pregnancy that I just kind of held that I didn't
Mhm.
share. Um, and that I think, being chosen would have felt better.
Mm.
If that makes sense. I don't
Mhm.
know, but it kind of just felt like, oh no, like I like, you're another person who just needs me. It
Yeah.
didn't feel genuine, if you will. And I think a lot of that was probably just where I was mentally. Um,
Mhm.
so that's tough. But
Yeah.
let's see if we can unpack this some.
Okay.
Big question. How has your relationship with intimacy changed since becoming a mom?
I think I just spoke to that a little bit. Like I said,
Mhm.
just being in a state of delirium, I just be like, please don't look at me. Don't see. It's so strange. I'm like, see me, but also don't see me. Leave me alone. And so I'm stuck in that area of like, it feels like you just need me for something. And so
Mhm.
please don't see me. But then also, I got a lot going on. I got a lot going on. I need to be seen. And when your body changes, it's like, ugh, please don't see me.
Yeah.
So I think my relationship with intimacy, I will say this, all in all, impact my confidence
Yeah.
and my confidence not only in myself but in my partner's capacity to hold all the stuff that I'm coming with. And so what I do is just take it and bottle it up. so,
Mhm.
so I think intimacy has just been this thing that's even emotional intimacy. Like we have really deep conversations. We do all the things, we go on date nights and stuff. But I really had to get to a place where I felt confident to receive the
Mhm.
intimacy that my husband was making space for, whether it's emotional or physical. It takes a lot of time, and effort. So and sometimes I wonder, do I have it? I'm tired, and after breastfeeding, that take a long time to. Please, Robert, I'm like, why are you looking at me? Like, why I can't look at you? Because I'm just like, ugh, these boobs were used for kids. I don't know what you're looking at. So you really have to be mindful and intentional about how you speak to yourself. This is the stuff that I tell myself. Like the more I was negative in my mind, the more of a negative experience I was having with intimacy. So it really was not
Mhm.
my partner; it was me.
Yeah. And I think that's common,
Mm.
because I definitely think I can resonate with that in the fact that, like, it's not just about the act of sex, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But finding the closest version of who you are
Mm.
that has the space to receive it how you need to. Like you said, like
Yeah.
I breastfed all three of my kids, and I mean it was different after each child, but I think this
Mhm.
last one was probably, by far the most eye opening. But yeah, like I think what they don't realize is that some men have an issue like with intimacy during the pregnancy. And
Mhm.
it's like, that's like when our hormones are like, oh my God, please just get over here now. And they like, no, I can't do that,
Mm.
And But then on the flip side, once the baby's here and it feels like they may be ready again, it's like, well, okay, hold on, we got to slow down because the way these breasts are filled,
Yeah.
we're gonna make a mess, you
Yeah.
know? Like
Yeah.
it's not gonna be comfortable for me or you. So
Yeah.
unless, you like milk showers, which like maybe that's too much, but it's like the amount of thought that has to go into what
Yeah.
the act will look like or feel
Right.
like for myself is what messed me up. Because you just get in your
Mm.
own way. Once I'm in my head, there's really no getting out of it. And it's not that I
Mhm.
didn't want it. I didn't want it the way I knew it would have to be given the
Yeah.
circumstances of, and so
Right.
but I think like because you had a gap,
Yeah.
so I think that's real because like between the gaps, oh, no, like, yeah, it changed. Like, once you get
Yeah.
comfortable and you get in that groove of a new norm, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, like, I can do this. Like, yeah, I mean, you're still a mom. Like, it's you
Mhm.
gotta learn to lock the doors, or you gotta make
Yeah.
sure them kids gonna stay in bed, or
Right.
something. Um, because Ari's good for it. Ari love to get out the bed. Mommy, mommy, and I'm like, don't get out,
Right.
babe. Like, I am busy.
Right.
But
Even
like.
but even before that, right? Like preparing, like feeding the kid, knowing you got to take your mind somewhere else, and you're thinking
Mhm,
about, I hope this child don't hurt themselves, or did they eat? Did they make a mess? Like clicking your mind out of mom brain and
mhm.
into a wife brain. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
the switch
yeah.
is hard, not to mention the little interruptions, but I feel those interruptions early on. I might be thinking about something, getting excited, and it's like, these kids done piss me off and I'm gone. It's gone.
And the interruptions already limit the amount of time, right? So I think it's like we have to take
Mhm.
all this into consideration. But then by the time we get here, like, Lord, it's the end of the day. It's either the
Bye.
end of the day or it's first thing in the morning. So
Yeah.
I'm either exhausted or I'm already running late.
Right.
Like like the window of opportunity is so small
So
that it's
small.
like if it's not ready to go and write and that it's probably just not going to happen, and that's hard
Mhm.
for me. I know, I mean, we didn't crossed over the halfway point in the
Yeah.
30s, and from what I've heard, the 40s are amazing.
I hope
um
so, 'cause they ain't
yeah,
been there.
I
I
mean
ain't got it.
the 30s have been good to me if I do say so myself. However, if 40 is better than the 30s, then it's like, no, like I don't want this to be an issue, right? Like I want
Mhm.
to prioritize intimacy
Yeah, right.
because it's just one of those things where it's like I've been a mom for 20 years, like
Mhm.
this can't, and I'm going to be a mom forever.
Mhm.
So if
Mhm.
I don't reclaim it, who will? You know?
Right, right. And I think the base of that is the invitation of that emotional intimacy. Okay,
Hmm.
if we can't get this done, let's still be considerate of each other.
Oh yeah.
I still have to actively do the manual labor of, hugging my husband. He's like, "Come on, give me a hug." I'm like, "Damn, I just woke up."
Hmm.
I am not necessarily a very physically affectionate person, and so I have to tell myself, we know it's not going to happen in the next few days, but I can offer that because that is his emotional need.
Yeah.
And that's a it's a give and a take, and that's something that I have to stretch into. I'm like, okay, I got to do this. Or for him, like, we can have deep conversations. For me, you're gonna have to talk to me. You're gonna have to get my mind somewhere else.
Hmm.
And so it's doing that when we know it won't look like what we think it's gonna look like, because it just, you could plan it all day, and even that, integrating a plan, like, yeah, let's shoot for Wednesday at 12, and hopefully it goes right. Maybe it doesn't, but up to Wednesday, we're talking, we're communicating, we're sharing the
Hmm.
tasks at home. If that don't happen, yeah, Wednesday ain't gonna happen. I can tell you
Yeah,
that.
it's not looking
It's
good.
not looking
It's not.
good. Not keeping score here, but it's not looking good because my mind is too filled, it's too jumbled. I
Mhm.
need a base that's a lot clearer than, let's just do it just cause.
Yeah.
Not gonna
I
happen.
think aren't there studies on that though? Like where like, intimacy is just more of a mental task for women
Mhm.
than it is
Mhm.
for men.
Yep.
And that is enough,
Yeah.
like just to say, because I mean, just even thinking about it, like I've been in intimate moments, whether physical or,
Mhm.
emotional, and it's just like, oh, I am not here right now,
Yeah.
and that's not fair to anybody, not to me, not
Yeah.
to you, not to us.
Right.
But yeah, that mental is important.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes. Right. Um so I think I got a little question here.
okay.
Let's see. It's tough, but I think it'll be an important one. What makes you feel emotionally connected to your partner now? Because sometimes we expect sex to be the starting point, which is what we just talked about. It ain't.
Hmm.
When really it's the result of that emotional connectedness. So that's what we just spoke to, but specifically to you, what do you say?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know me, I am an extremely affectionate person.
Mhm.
I just am. But I know because of that that like intimacy starts like way before the bedroom. It's
Mhm.
outside the bedroom. It's everywhere.
Mhm.
And I probably tell Trey like 4 or 5 times a week, like, "Ooh, 7 hugs a day. That's what I need." And
Yeah.
so when we get up in the morning, the first thing I do, like he'll be standing at the sink brushing his teeth, and I'll just like bear hug him from the back, and I'm like, one. And I just count
Yeah.
them out. Like when we get to the gym, like I joke about it. And
Yeah.
what's funny is though is that like he has grown to a point where he can translate that into, sometimes he'll give the hugs and he'll be like,
Mhm.
all right, that's three, and like I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Because that's what I need. I like
Yeah.
the hugs, the connection. Like we'll sit down and we'll just be watching TV and it's okay. Like I don't just put your foot over here. Just let me touch
Mhm.
you. Or like I like to like massage his scalp, like if
Yeah.
he's laying down, cuddling, like all
Yeah.
of that to me is where intimacy starts.
Mm.
Um, and I think sometimes it's also like a recharge for me. And that's what I need to clear
Mm.
my head and to make space. But it's
Mm.
just like, no, like if I can hold you and just be grounded and just know like, hey, we're good, I can move forward. So really small acts. Like I'm not asking for anything crazy. In the
Yeah.
chaos of everything, I just need a little bit of physical touch.
Yeah.
Um, but okay. Well, let me ask you one.
Okay.
Do you feel safe enough to ask for what you need in or outside of intimacy?
Ooh, yes. We've been together long enough to grow. I don't think
Mhm,
I did before,
mhm,
and that was something I had to learn. I mean, Rob and I've been together since we were in our 20s. So, rightfully so, I didn't know, and I just expected him to know what I needed without saying it out loud,
mhm.
which, girl, you wrong.
In
Uh,
hindsight, because you said 20s, we're not talking 28, 29. Okay,
no, I'm talking
guys,
about
we're talking
20.
like early 20,
Yeah,
like college
23.
20s.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
twenty-two.
we're right.
Yeah, young and not, not knowing. And then when you throw kids in it, it changes. It totally,
Mhm,
totally changes. The intimacy was maybe not a problem when we first got together, but after kids, after Sydney, it was hard. And I didn't know what I needed. And we had a very hard time with emotional intimacy. Because Rob really, y'all, I always joke with him. I say this, y'all see him smiling all the time, but that man is very stoic when tears are present. He's like, "Why are you crying?" I don't understand. So we really had to grow into that. Like, if you don't let me be me, I'm not going to feel safe to let you know what I need, and I will just become a stone wall.
mhm,
So we got to that place of creating safety. So I feel safe because we created it over time, to ask for what we need. And like I said, he'll ask for me for what he needs. It's like, come on, man, give me a hug. I'm like, okay, let me get out of my head. Or I'll be like, come on, man, do the dishes. I need you to, and my love language is acts of service. Do something. um or just like, so I've learned to also be a factor of safety, because I know I can have, as an Aries, I know I can hold energy that is
mhm,
can feel unsafe, And I'm sure my husband, this full grown man, is not going to say that. But I know I might carry that sometimes. Like, okay, well, I know I'm just not going to get none. And it's like, no. So I have to say what I need so that he knows I'm not armed either. That intimacy is possible. But if I go, oh my God, I can't, I'm so stressed. Like, I start talking about everything in the house. The next day, he gets to cleaning stuff up. I'm like, okay, not just so he can get some, but because he knows I'm in a place where it's not safe for anybody.
Mhm.
And we all got to get me there, and in that I can I can share the responsibility of being like, okay, and I'm frustrated and overwhelmed, and I can still give you a hug. I can say thank you for doing the things I think you should be doing anyway, but I'll say thank you because I think that's what you need. And so I'll do it. I'll stretch. So yeah, safety has been created. I'll
Yeah.
say that.
That's beautiful, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
acknowledging it, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
again, until you really know when you've been in it, like, you don't even realize the thing, not you, but you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
like me, like,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
don't realize what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I love it. Well, so we're not here just to kind of talk about it, right? Let's talk
Mhm.
solutions.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
if you're in a season where intimacy feels distant, where do you begin?
Mhm. I think, just like I said, starting with honesty, knowing how you're showing up, knowing what you're needing, and asking your partner to do the same, right? So not about what's going wrong, what they're not doing, but
Mhm.
just about what might be missing. What are we both missing?
Right.
So trying to say, like, maybe I miss feeling close to you. I want to feel connected again, but I don't know where to start. Just being honest about the fact that, oh, I think we're misaligned right now. We might not be on the same page.
Yep. Yep. I love that. And I think just in inviting our partners into that space
Mm-hmm.
speaks volume, because it's not, as women,
Mm-hmm.
personally, I know I can get in my head,
Mm.
and what I think is 9.5 times out of 10 not at all
Yeah.
what Trey is thinking. Like, it's
Yeah.
almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
But just, inviting him in, and also realizing, right? Like,
Mhm.
I feel a disconnect, but if he feels a disconnect, is it for the same reason, right? Like,
Mm.
he doesn't, and we're not, oftentimes when this happens, it has nothing to do with physical intimacy.
Mhm.
It's almost always emotional.
Yep.
Um, and so I think it just begins, like you said, with that conversation or with small things, just, finding ways to be closer to each other, to do things, with each other, to remind us, like, hey, we're a team. We're in this
Yeah.
together. And it's not about blaming each other, right? It's not like,
Mhm.
I wanted X, Y, and Z and you didn't give it to me. Or,
Yeah.
I'm not giving you this because you didn't give me what I wanted. Like, none of that has anything to do with it. Just,
Mhm.
it's a team building exercise every time. Every time we, start to veer off the path, it's like, all right, now team,
Yeah.
how do we rebuild to get back on there?
Right.
So, it's, and if I can say this, it's remembering that intimacy with yourself matters too, right? So, like,
Yeah.
when we can start from within and just really real,
Mhm.
because it doesn't help me to be like, something's not right. And he's like,
Mhm.
well, what's wrong? And I can't say it. But I have to be open and honest with myself,
Mhm.
and really have some intimate moments where it's like, no, this is what you need, or this is why,
Mm.
so that I can then translate it to him in a way that
Mhm.
stands, and we can move forward, right? Because
Mhm.
we're talking about solutions, but like, I
Right.
can't just show up to the problem
Right.
without anything to offer. Like,
Right.
what can I contribute to get us where we both know we want to be?
Yeah.
Um, so, okay, well, here's
That's
another
good.
uh, question for our listeners.
Mhm.
What's one small way that you can reconnect with your own body this week?
Mm. Mm.
Maybe it's dancing, a bath,
Mhm.
saying something kind to yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Personally, I have to travel Monday through Wednesday for work, and I've already decided. My manager doesn't know, but I'm going to take Thursday and Friday off.
Yeah.
I
There you
just
go.
don't feel like working, and Thursday I have dedicated to myself. I'm going to schedule a
Mm.
massage, and
Mhm.
that's what I'm going to do for me,
Yeah.
just to reconnect, because it's just
Right.
like, no, like, I'm tense, I'm tight. If I'm not caring for myself, how can anybody else do it? But yeah,
Mhm.
that's gonna be my reconnection for the week. So
I like
next time y'all
that.
hear from me, I'll tell you how good it was.
Yeah. That's awesome. But yeah, and you
Mhm.
know me, I'm gonna suggest some breath work.
Love it.
It's simple and easy, even it's just stopping and breathing and feeling yourself fill with air and feeling the release of the tension. um you can just put your hands on your heart and remember that you are more than just what you do for others.
Mm.
So and that's so funny that this is coming up because I was like, dang, I haven't done my breath work in a while, which is probably why I'm pretty tight around the house right now. So I'll try to fit that in, but I don't know with these kids. But
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 it's
I
summer
think
schedule.
yes, I think
Yeah.
somebody should try that out there. Box breathing, in for 4, hold it for 4, out for 4. It will change your life for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah. Um, all right. Well, of course, we always want to give you something to carry with you today.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
please hear us loud and proud and clear when we say this.
Yeah.
But your needs don't disappear because you became a mom. That
Mm.
you're still worthy of love, touch, rest.
Mm.
I'll say it louder for the people in the back.
Yes.
Rest and
Yes.
pleasure. And you can
Yes.
have it all.
Yes. In any form. Get curious
Hmm.
about what that can look like if it's starting not to feel like it fits in your life. It fit. Just maybe
Hmm.
not in the way you're trying to make it fit. You got to get a little curious.
Hmm.
And so here's maybe
And creative.
and creative and creative, right? And here's something to try this week. Write a connection note to your partner. I would say first, write one to yourself. Get comfortable with yourself first,
Mhm.
and then write a connection note to your partner. Just one paragraph. Tell them how you're feeling, what you hope for, what you miss. It doesn't have to lead to anything. It just has to be honest. And it could just be affirmations. I've written plenty of things down where it's for Rob, and maybe I'm not sharing it with him, but it's just things that I want for him.
Mm.
And that just helps me open up these gates of intimacy without him feeling like he has to be a part of it, or without me feeling like he has to be a part of it. But writing things down helps. So try that. Try to find some form of connection, even if you're just writing it down first before you're saying it out loud.
I must say, Jaleesa, this was
Yeah.
a vulnerable one.
Yeah, it was.
And, for those of you who are listening, we're glad you stuck with us through it.
Yeah.
Because these conversations matter for sure.
Yes. And if it made you feel seen or gave you something to think about, please share this episode with a friend. You know what I'm going to say. Do all the social media things.
All of them. Leave us a
Yeah.
review, follow us on socials, like, share, subscribe, what they say, and,
Right.
and whatever you need to do to help us grow.
Right. Yes. And most importantly, take care of you because you're
Mm.
not just someone's mama. You're still a whole, beautiful, deserving human.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. So we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.